Stakeholder management. When you think about stakeholder management, how do you manage stakeholders from sales differently than you do from marketing, differently than you do from engine product, etc.? I mean, do you have a general kind of thought process where like this from a sales ops perspective, this is what's important to sales. From a sales ops perspective, this is what's important to marketing and product and eng, etc.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So yeah, I think the best way to think about it is to meet them where they are. The type of character, the type of person you're going to deal with, from a head of the technical team to a head of sales to a head of marketing to a head of customer support. Those profiles are enormously different. The people are enormously different, and so having as much empathy and I would say empathy is like the key thing that you should be thinking about, is figuring out what's important to them and making whatever you're trying to accomplish, aligning your vision with theirs. You can stress that more.
Yeah, let's look at an example. So if I'm going to sales, what's your headspace when you're going to someone's sales? And we'll go through each example.
The number, convincing your head of sales. I mean, obviously this is very hypothetical, and not all situations are going to line up to this, but convincing that your head of sales that what you're trying to do is going to provide the business value that's going to get them to their number. If it's going to, the support, just getting them to understand that, what you're trying to do in that moment is going to improve user experience, customer experience, and ultimately provide a better end-to-end customer journey.
Nice one. And what about product and eng? Like, you've done a bunch of projects liaising between sales and marketing and product and eng. Like, what are some of the things you need to think about in sales ops, sales strategy, sales tools, systems as you're having those types of conversations?
That's a good one. So, I mean, I would say it'd be very similar to, trying to hit on the same points as what would be important to, a CRO or head of sales, to, as well as, speaking to customer experience and ultimately, customer retention.
Mm-hmm.
But those, interfacing with with CTOs and heads of product can always be, pretty challenging, because they can have a much different vision and be motivated by different motivations than just trying to optimize for profits. That
right.
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have one or two tips on how to navigate that?
So I know this might sound a little cheesy, but honestly, just building relationships with those folks that are real, and having a beer with them, having lunch with them, having more personal connections with those folks goes a really, really long way. Not trying to sound like you're trying to buy their affection, but that honestly to me has been the most the best way to actually navigate the situations, is building personal relationships with them so that they can trust where you're coming from. I mean, assuming you're a trustworthy person.